you should check out some of my other channels. Have a great day.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Hey everyone, what is going on? So you guys know I'm a big fan of the Jedi vs. Sith book. It goes over a lot of different things in all of Star Wars. You know, fights, lightsaber battles, wars, characters, force powers, everything like that. And one thing in particular that it goes over is a lot of journal entries from a lot of the different characters. We've got journal entries from Yoda, Vader killing Watto, to Luke and Anakin, and all these different characters that are very interesting, and we're getting their point of view of things about different battles and different force powers and different characters. Now in today's video, we are going to actually go over the log entry of the journal from Luke Skywalker himself, and this takes place 10 years after episode 4. So this takes place after Return of the Jedi and everything. Now in Legends, there is this character named Anakin Solo, and he is the third child of Han Solo and Leia. Now, there is the older brother, Jacen Solo, who I believe is basically Kylo Ren, but they've just changed the name to now Kylo Ren, of course. Jacen turns to the dark side. Anakin does not. However, I believe they've kind of taken these two characters here, and they've kind of blended them together into one. But, as we'll find out as we go on in this video, Anakin Solo was the one that Palpatine was after. You can see a lot of parallels between the two, but we're not here to talk about that. So before we begin, I want you guys to just take note of something here. Anakin Solo, we know, is kind of like Kylo Ren. It's Luke's nephew, and they've taken inspiration. Disney has taken inspiration from that. Lucasfilm has taken inspiration from that. Along with Jacen Solo, who actually did end up turning to the dark side, and I kind of feel like they took these two characters and melded them together just in, 3 parts of the films. They've changed a lot of the legends, but they've kept true to a lot of the things in general. So when we're going to be talking about different character names, you can maybe start to think and theorize for yourself as to which characters they might really be talking about, that if this were to come true in the film. So here is one actual, and this is not a theory, this is an actual recorded way of Palpatine's return that Luke Skywalker is writing down in his journal. And now keep in mind that Legends, when George Lucas was in charge before, he sold it to Disney, was really kind of like canon. That was like what we had to go off of outside of the movies. But now that, of course, Disney has taken over, Legends from George Lucas is non-existent, pretty much. So, well, actually, no, definitely non-existent. So, without further ado, here we go. It's a bit long, but it's actually very interesting, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, let's get to it. The Demise of Palpatine, 10 to 11 ABY. Author, Luke Skywalker. This record is for my nephew, Anakin Solo. Anakin, I speak to you from the planet Onderon, where your parents, siblings, and I are the guests of Modon Kira and his warrior clan. At this very moment, you are sleeping peacefully in a crib in your parents' suite. This is a wonderful thing for you to be doing, Anakin. It is how every baby should sleep, softly snoring without fear or concern. And yet yesterday, we came so close to losing you. I have no doubt that you will grow up good and strong, and that by the time you review this recording, you'll already have heard something about the events of yesterday. Because the Force is so strong in you, I suppose it's possible that your in-code memory may preserve some aspects of what happened. But I want you to know from me, about what happened, as best as I can tell it. And afterward, I'll tell you why I want you to know. For more than 2 decades, the galaxy was controlled by Emperor Palpatine, a Sith Lord who had conquered the Republic and virtually destroyed the Jedi Order. To say that Palpatine was evil and would stop at nothing to accomplish his goals is an understatement. He annihilated entire civilizations and left worlds ravaged beyond salvation, all in his ongoing effort to achieve greater power. Now, on a side note, Palpatine was much more evil than Thanos, okay? So you Marvel fans out there, I'm a Marvel fan too, but Palpatine was numero uno when it came to being a complete monster. He was also responsible for luring my father, the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker, to the dark side and transforming him into a Sith apprentice named Darth Vader. I will tell you more of my father another time, but for now, know that he renounced the Sith and that it was he who killed Palpatine 7 years ago at the Battle of Endor. Know that your grandfather, your namesake, died as a Jedi. And for 6 years, I believed, as everyone else did, that Palpatine was dead. Only last year did I learn the truth. Palpatine had not been consumed by a blast of energy, but had survived as dark side energy itself. In this bodiless transitional state, he traveled across the galaxy until he reached his hidden retreat world. There, he projected his spirit into the body of a waiting clone, a replica of himself, Snoke. By this method, he had cheated death. It was not the first time. He had previously utilized clones after he had discovered that the corrupting power of the dark side had a detrimental effect on his physical form. But after the Battle of Endor, he commissioned many more clones of himself to ensure that he would live forever. And then his reign of terror began again. He developed a loyal military and built a new fleet of warships. Seeking a new apprentice, he set his sights on me and then your mother. But from the moment that he sensed you inside your mother's womb, and this is where Snoke and Kylo, the stories are completely just interconnecting here, and we can see it very, very perfectly. From the moment he sensed you inside your mother's womb, you became the greatest object of his desire. Even more so after I destroyed his cloning facility, leaving him with only a single clone to possess. Now here's the kicker, and this is I didn't read this before. This is the theory that I've been going on for a while now. No, he didn't want you as his apprentice. He wanted to possess a genuine Jedi body, yours. After you were born, it didn't take Palpatine long to track you and your mother here, to the Kira fortress on Onderon. He was desperate for a new body, as his own was rapidly deteriorating. As soon as I realized he was heading for the fortress, I raced here with the Jedi Knight Empatogeos Brand, my Jedi apprentice Rafe Yasana, and your father. Brand and Rafe found Palpatine first. I was too late to stop Palpatine from unleashing Sith lightning upon them. Rafe was killed instantly. But Brand, possibly because his cybernetic body absorbed most of the energy, was still alive when your father and I arrived in the chamber, where Palpatine had cornered you and your mother. I told Palpatine that I would accept his surrender. He lunged for you, trying to tear you from your mother's arms. Your father blasted him, and as he fell, he said it was time for him to enter the child, as he had vowed. An instant later, Palpatine's cloak emptied, and both Leia and I sensed that his spirit was about to possess your body. Brand moved faster than thought. He took you in his robotic arms and used the light side of the Force to shield you from Palpatine. Then, he handed you back to your mother and assured us that he had trapped Palpatine's spirit. Brand said he could feel himself being eaten alive by the darkness, and he could not stop it. Or maybe he would not stop it. He said that Palpatine would die with him, and that Palpatine would never return. The Force, he said, and all the Jedi who went before us will make sure of that. And then, Brand died. Now, who do you guys think Brand could be in Episode 9? And the talk of all the Jedi who died before, Mace Windu, Qui-Gon, everyone kind of returning in this massive Force battle kind of thing, kind of giving someone energy, sort of like what we saw in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire with his parents and all that stuff. That would be a very cool visual. Had I known how to contain and destroy Palpatine, I would have done it to save you, because I did not know this ability. I am grateful that Brand was with us. He was a greater Jedi than I. So now, Anakin, I shall tell you why it's so important to me that I relate this story to you. It's not because I want you to remember your place in history at the moment Palpatine died. I want you to remember Rafe, Yasana, and Brand, two men who fought to save you. I also want you to remember Rafe's sister, Jem, who died while defending your mother and me against Palpatine's minions on New Alderaan. I hope you will honor them by living a good, long life, and this is what they would have wanted for you. Now that Palpatine is finally gone forever, I feel a great relief. I don't know how long this relief will last, and I can only imagine what your future holds. But with the last Sith Lord dead, the future of the Jedi Order has never looked brighter. May the Force be with you, Anakin. So, this kind of reveals a lot of stuff. And if they draw from this, then everything is kind of melting together, don't you think, with Episode 7 and 8 kind of just adding up. It really didn't matter if Snoke died because he was just another body, he was another vessel. And maybe Kylo knew this. Maybe Kylo had an idea that it doesn't matter if I just kill him here because it's just Palpatine's essence somewhere and he's just going to float out and go into someone else. And if we remember, Snoke's ring, which is from beneath Vader's castle, inscribed with the Duarte on it, which are the statues from Palpatine's office, the golden ones, which were in the Plagueis book taken from Darth Plagueis himself. So, you add all these things up and it's like, if Palpatine is not the one that's kind of possessing Snoke and Snoke is really a nobody, he's just a vessel, then really it makes no difference if he died or not. You know, Snoke is just kind of a nobody. Maybe he's just doesn't even know how to use the Force, and Palpatine was using it through him. That's a very big possibility right there, which is something I've been saying for a long time. Now, in the case of someone sacrificing themselves, I think this person that will sacrifice themselves might just be Leia. I think that in order to get Kylo to turn back to the light, Leia will have to sacrifice herself, and she will be the person that does this kind of Force shield around him. And all the other Jedi will come, all the other Jedi who have passed, the Force ghosts and all that, they'll come and they will help her. They will help her, you know, with powers of the Force, and they'll create this sort of protective light side shield against Palpatine. And while she'll be dying, so will Palpatine at the same time. And Palpatine at this point, I imagine, will have taken a younger vessel of his own. You know, he's trying to get to Kylo or maybe Rey, and that's why it's so important to him to find another Vader. You know, and that's why, you know, Snoke, or rather Palpatine, says to him, "You're no Vader. You're just a boy in a mask." And he's like just very disappointed because he's like, "You're nothing. You wasted my whole time here." So at that point, you know, in the movie, in episode 8, he kind of realized that now I gotta start all over again. I gotta find someone who's more powerful, and then he, you know, sets his sights on Rey more so, and he kind of goes for her then. But I believe that if this actually happens, episode 9 could be one of the most beautiful Star Wars movies that I have ever seen. And I really hope that this is what happens, because we know JJ did talk to George Lucas before even attempting to write the script. And he has said this himself. We talked to George, and we tried to come up with something, and he wanted basically his good graces, and he wanted a path to follow to basically put all these 9 movies into one. And he said one of the big problems, one of the hardest parts about episode 9 was that you're taking 8 movies and you're putting them into one movie at the end and trying to make it, you know, all make sense and make it funny and make it good. So I think if they do this, man, like, this is gonna be one heck of a story, you know. And it's unfortunate that they had to kill off Han Solo, because he could have come back at this point and he could have been in the story, which would have been really cool. He could have aided, and, you know, maybe he could have been the one that sacrificed himself, you know. But I feel like this is something that could happen. Leia sacrificing herself at the end, dying to save Kylo, and Kylo will then turn to the light. But then what if Palpatine doesn't die from that, and it was kind of a waste? And he's like, you know what? It's time for me to be a good guy and fulfill the Skywalker prophecy, which in the end was for them to all turn good, right? Like Luke, there was a part in episode 6, or in the episode 6 book, Return of the Jedi book, where Luke was originally actually, not the book, the script, where he was actually supposed to take Vader's helmet and put it on himself and be like, now I'm Darth Vader. But they obviously cut that out because George Lucas thought that was a bit too grim, a bit too dark. So, and Anakin, as we know, turned to the dark side, and then he turned good. So there are a lot of parallels here that could fall with the prequels and the originals, and then now the sequels. And if they tie it all in together like this, imagine this at the end. This could be a very beautiful scene, and I'm really hoping that we get this. Someone is sacrificing their life. We could say Leia. So Leia is sacrificing her life for Kylo, and we get, she's, you know, creating this Force shield. All the ghosts of the Jedi appear before her, around her, and everything, to kind of help her and pour their Force energy into her shield or whatever she's doing. You know, we got Qui-Gon, we got Mace, we got Yoda, we got Luke, we got Obi-Wan, we got Anakin, we got everybody coming in there, and it's now, you know, you're connecting the past, and it's all just making sense, and it's all this cohesiveness, and it's just, I could see that scene, man. I think that would be a very powerful scene, and I think it would be a very beautiful scene, and it would tie the Skywalker trilogy all into one, because at the end of the day, then it wouldn't just be one person who's a Skywalker. They would all be Skywalkers, because they would all be coming together, and they'd be helping each other. No, that's stupid. They'd all be coming together to help, you know, basically for the greater good, and kill Palpatine once and for all. And I think that would be a beautiful way to end the story. But of course, I would like to know what you guys think. This is some really cool information from the Jedi vs. Sith book. Tons of stuff in here. I implore you guys to go check it out yourself, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Could this be the path that they will take for Palpatine to come back? And if they do, man, I am very excited. I think that could be absolutely just very good. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know, hit like if you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.
Fulfill distant.